Hello, my name is Chloe. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my October wrap up. So the lighting is really doing me no justices here today. It's getting to English winter, this is happening, but I'm doing my best to get you a decently high quality video out. As everyone will be fed up of hearing, October was the most stressful month of my life so far. And despite that, I managed to read 6 books, and I am very happy with myself for being able to do that. Finding the time to relax and do it really made a difference, I think, in my own mental well-being. So to talk you through the books, I read 6 books, as I said. 5 were physical and 1 was audio. I didn't have any amazing reads this month. I had 1 book I didn't rate, 3 3-stars, 1 4-star and 1 4.5-star. And that made my average rating a 3.5-star, so pretty decent. I read a total of 2,203 pages, which obviously is my lowest this year so far, but still really damn impressive, which came out to an average of 71 pages a day, or 367 pages per book. So let's just talk you through them in the order that I read them. The book that I gave no rating was Silent Sisters by Joanne Lee. This book was very odd. This is a memoir-ish style thing. I don't really know how to explain these, where it's true crime-ish, kind of told from the person who went through it. This is about a woman who, when she was a young girl, she had a lot of responsibility for her younger siblings, and her mom wasn't really that present. It was a really strange home situation, but the book starts with the main character or person, it's really hard to explain when it's true, and her mother burying a baby, and the tone of that continues. It's a very strange dynamic. It's really disturbing, and I would not go into this if you have any sort of like, if you wouldn't pick up the Chloe's Crime Scene Corner reads, then please do not pick this up. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. It's quite dark, it's quite visceral, it's just very disturbing. Saying that though, this is the one I listened to on audio, I listened to it on SCRIBD, and it definitely opened my eyes that different people's experiences, like it was genuinely wild. I don't really know what more I can say about it, so I will leave it at that for now. Next up, my best book of the month was Sweet Pea by CJ Scouse, which was my Chloe's Crime Scene Corner pick for the month, and I gave this 4.5 stars. I did really like this book. It was very different. This is a thriller, I guess, told by our main character Rhiannon, who has a serial killer desire. She is wandering around plotting out who she would next like to kill, and for very menial reasons, like the guy who, what does she call him, like homeless Ed Sheeran or something? Just anyone who bothers her, she wishes death, and she's a very interesting woman. This book was dark, very dark in places, but very funny. Very, I don't know, just very real feeling, and the fact that the serial killer felt so real was quite disturbing to me. I found it very funny. I have heard a few people who did actually DNF it, and a few people like me who thought it was hilarious, so it's really hard to judge. I found it funny. I feel like maybe it crosses a line in places then. I did hate the ending though. Completely hated the ending. I will probably not be continuing on with the series. I've had confirmation from Victoria that continuing the series probably isn't in my best interest. So I'm gonna leave it there. But I had a fun time reading this. I believe the audiobook is on SCRIBD if you want to go check it out. But yeah, I had a good time with it. Next up, we're going down to 4 stars for my next read, which was The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. This one is already packed and ready to go for the future mother-in-law next week. She is going to read that one. I really did enjoy it. 4 stars for me on a romance is particularly good because it means it was easy and fun, but still what I would consider a good book. It's really hard for me to give 5 stars to a romance because it has to have some sort of deeper like grit to it. This one is about our two main characters who don't really like each other. It is the sister of the bride and the brother of the groom at the wedding, and they have hated each other for as long as they can remember, but they are the two people at the wedding who do not eat the buffet, and everyone who does eat the buffet comes down with some incredibly weird sickness. So it means that the honeymoon is left up for grabs, and our two main characters go on the honeymoon instead of their brother and sister, respectively. It's not weird like that. And so fun. So fun. You found yourself rooting for the characters like right from the beginning, obviously. It was a very easy romance. I had a good time with it. So 4 stars. I feel like this is going to be a very quick rapid fire wrap up. So I only have 3 more books left to talk about, and I don't really have much to say about any of them. So these are my 3 stars of the month. First up, I finally read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, and I don't have too much to say about this. I did like it. So this is about our main character, Amira, who is a young black woman who is babysitting a small white child. And at the supermarket, she's asked to step in because this big drama happens, and she has to take the little girl to the supermarket pretty much in the middle of the night, in the clothes she was going out clubbing in previously. So the security guard comes up and he is convinced that Amira has actually stolen this young girl, when obviously that is not the case. And she is filmed by a man in the supermarket with this encounter, and he says that it would be the good thing to broadcast it, to bring attention to it, and to take the supermarket and the man down for racism. But Amira decides that's not really the path she wants to go on, and this whole book is about the dynamics between the babysitter, the well-off family, this guy stepping in, and I did enjoy it. There were a lot of things I learned from this, a lot of just human interaction that I maybe haven't been exposed to, I think is the best way to word it. But I couldn't give it more than a 3 stars because it took me since February to read this, and it's very small. It is just over 300 words, like literally a few pages over 300, and I started reading it in February. I finished it late October, so we had to cap it at 3 stars. It wasn't really keeping my attention, but I would recommend this one. I really, really would. I had a good time with it. Next up, maybe if I did disappointing reads videos, it could be on there, because it's not a bad book. But I was very disappointed by Beautiful Broken Things by Sarah Bernard, and this hurts me. This hurts me. So I've read 2 Sarah Bernard books before this. I've read A Quiet Kind of Thunder, and I have read Goodbye Perfect, both of which 5 stars, knocked it out the park. And I met Sarah Bernard at Yauk. I was telling her about my experiences as a child who wouldn't talk, which is related to the focus of A Quiet Kind of Thunder. There are also weird experiences in my life that relate to Goodbye Perfect, and I feel like that's why I love those books so much, because they felt real. I had real life projections I could put on it and picture myself as the characters and all those good things. This one didn't do it for me. I gave it 3 stars. This is about Caddy. She can't be Caddy, it's not Mean Girls. Caddy and Rosie, who have always been best friends, and then a new girl goes to Rosie's school, Suzanne, I forgot her name, and Suzanne's got a different vibe. She's got a bit of a backstory that we're trying to find out about, and the dynamics shift in the original friendship to allow Suzanne in, and that changes a whole lot of things. We have Caddy, who is the typical good girl, and Suzanne is not the best influence, and she's kind of rubbing off on Caddy a little bit, in not the best way. And this whole book kind of explored how teenagers cope with friendships of people who just aren't quite on that wavelength with them, and how you kind of act for your friends. It's hard to explain. I've got a numb foot. I'm so sorry if I keep shifting. But yeah, I just didn't really love this one as much. I found the characters quite juvenile, and they are supposed to be 16, but the characters in the other books were supposed to be 16 too, and this really stood out for me as like they maybe wouldn't be that dumb, or they wouldn't say it in that way. I don't know. I really like Sarah Bernard. She was lovely when I met her. I've had some Twitter conversations with her since, but sadly, this one just didn't quite do it for me. I say that, 3 stars is still a fine book for me, but it just wasn't great. And finally, maybe the only book this year that I have physically yeeted across a room and still given 3 stars is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Overall, this book was lovely. it was fun. It was cute. We had small town romances. We had a lumberjack character. We had books. We had a bookshop. We had a coffee shop. We had everything we wanted, apart from the most disrespectful line about long distance relationships than I have ever read. Yeah, my foot is completely numb now. I have moved. I'm so sorry. I have heard some negative opinions on long distance relationships, obviously being in one. I have heard everything. But this one, I can't talk about it directly because of things in the book, but the effect of the line was that every day in a long distance relationship, you are holding the other person back and you are letting them down. And I yeeted the book. It flew. But saying that, I did like the romance. I have Emily Henry's other books and I do want to give them a go because I feel like there was just a bit of a misplaced line that wasn't written as a personal attack for me. I was just feeling vulnerable that day. And it did obviously then impact the enjoyment of the book. It meant that my opinion on the ending was awful. If you want to talk to me about it more, please do let me know. But I hate how this ended. I feel like it was just so aggravating for me, completely aggravating. But I did read it. 3 stars. So there we have it. Those are the 6 books I read in October. I hope you guys are going to be ready for November because I am hoping for at least 12 books. And I say that knowing full well that today is the 11th and I have read about 100 pages so far this month. But bear with. Next month's wrap up will also be from Cole's house. So I need to figure out some lighting there, but we will see what I come up with. Let me know, what was your favourite book in October? I would love to hear it. But on that note, I'm done talking about these, so that is all I have time for today. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.